It's sort of like having an artist sit down and take his brush to canvas.
Ozzie from the outfield grass. Oh, is he sweet or what?
The defensive end of the game, to me, is the most exciting part.
Griffey going back to the 1-8 track, leaps high in the air, and he's got it!
And that's a shot up the middle. A diving stop by Cruz. Over to Guillen. Double play.
If there was any fun on the field, for me, it was a great play.
Right back and off the glove. And he will not. Mike Spirit, what a play to Gillen.
Bo on the charge. Bo is there. Yo, Bo!
I never give up, and that's one of the reasons why I make some of the plays that I do.
I have never seen a catcher block home plate like Mike Socia.
Third base, one there, two there, and a triple play. Another chance for Mitchell, and he makes a bare-handed catch.
There's one. It is going. It is going. It is gone.
The game of baseball is essentially a game of fundamentals. Every aspect of the game can be analyzed and taught. And in this series, you'll learn how to teach those fundamentals the Major League way.
When we're fielding a ground ball, coaches, you want to make sure that they feel as smoothly as possible.
Major League Baseball represents the very highest level of baseball skill and ability. But as our professional coaches will demonstrate, the basics of the game are the same at every level.
Basic fundamentals of blocking are very simple. What you want to teach your kids to do is get down on both knees.
Throwing as an outfielder, you'd like to hit the cutoff man right in the chest. Once you've done that, your job is done.
In addition to the fundamentals, you'll also learn simple and effective drills that are easy to master, as well as valuable insights into many of the game's finer points.
The choice of where you're going to put the ball, whether to take the sign from the glove or behind you, is entirely up to you. You really have to emphasize to the young player the fact that their hands need to work when they hit.
In the game of baseball, the teaching never stops, from youth leagues all the way to the major leagues.
I'd rather have you right here. You just sort of got to stiff that one a little bit. Boom.
Make sure that you don't get that bat back in here and tight. Just keep it out front the same way.
Play ball the Major League way, hitting and running. In this section, we'll review the fundamentals of hitting. We will also cover bunting with Coach Joe Vavra. But first, here's Coach Casey Parsons to talk about hitting.
Hi, my name's Casey Parsons with the Oakland Athletics, and I'm here to talk to you about the fundamentals of a good swing. I think the first and most important thing for the young players is the selection of a bat. Too many times the youngsters try and pick a bat that's too big for them. I think the easiest way to tell a youngster to pick a bat is if he can hold the bat of his choice out comfortably at the end for 3 or 4 seconds without it falling, and he's comfortable with it, that he's picked out a bat that's right for him. But ultimately, it's the coach's decision, and if anything, it's better to have a bat that may be a little bit smaller than larger. First, let's talk about the grip. The grip is probably one of the most important things for the young hitter as far as getting a correct grip early on. Too many young hitters want to put the bat too far back in their hand. The most important thing is getting the bat out on the fingertips. Coaches, I think a good way to explain this is for them to visualize that they have an axe in their hands and they're going to split a piece of wood straight down over their head. It tends to make these knuckles line up in the correct alignment.
Notice that the knuckles of both hands are lined up. At this point, while waiting for the pitch, the batter should have a relaxed grip. He should not squeeze the bat into the palm.
The next thing that's important is the fact that they are able to control the bat. A lot of young players feel if they're on the end of the bat that they can hit the ball further. I think a good way to show a player that he can control the bat better by choking up is have him hold the bat at the end and then hold it about 2-3 inches in and find out how much better he can control the bat. This will help a lot of your players that cannot control the bat to control it better, and it's a good way to help them understand exactly how that can help them. Another thing is hitting is a repetitious type thing, and we're going to show you some drills later on that take a lot of swings. A lot of swings can be very difficult on your hands. A lot of players take precautionary measures and they use gloves, such as these right here. And I think that it's a good investment to stop the calluses and the blisters that develop after a lot of swings. The next thing I'd like to talk to you about is the positioning of the feet in relation to the plate. And there's just some basic guidelines. Some players will deviate off this, but this is just a good general rule. Be able to take your outside hand, reach over, and be able to touch the outside part of the plate comfortably. If you're too far away, the young player will have to reach too far, and if it'll be too easy for him to touch the outside corner. So you should be able to just reach over comfortably and be able to touch the outside corner. The other thing, as far as depth, up and back, I think if you just draw a line at the front of the plate, straight back in the box, that's a good guideline for the front foot. Back foot in about a shoulder width distance apart would be a very comfortable stance. Again, some players will want to deviate off this later on, but for a general rule and a starting point, this seems to be a pretty successful starting point. Now the stance, to start with, in a relaxed position should be split 50-50. But as we get into the position ready to hit, our weight shift will come back. Approximately 70% on the back foot, 30% on the front foot. What we do here is what we call the weight shift. We get our weight back ready to hit.
As the batter gets ready for the pitch, he shifts most of his weight to the back foot. The weight remaining on the front leg should be shifted to the ball of that foot.
First and most important thing to tell a young player is to be comfortable. You've got to be comfortable from the feet up. Hitting is a very relaxed motion. I think the best thing to think about here is that, like we talked, the feet need to be shoulder width apart as a good starting measure. Your feet should be perpendicular to the plate. We don't want to see young players this way or this way. Start them perpendicular to the plate. I'd like to see the knees flexed a little bit of bend here, not too much upright. We'd like to make sure that everybody gets their knees flexed and use their legs in their hitting. Next thing is the hands. To me, hitting is really your hands. It's getting your hands out front and making your hands work. To do this, you really have to emphasize to the young player the fact that their hands need to work when they hit. A lot of young players let their legs and everything open up and they don't use their hands. If anything, overemphasize the hands. I feel that a good starting point for the hands is where the bat comes back and the hands rest comfortably. You don't want them too close and you don't want them too far away. Both those tend to cause swings that are not a good fundamental swing. So again, try and get the hands comfortable, not too close and not too far away from the body. The bat, we really don't want to wrap it. We really don't want to drop it too far down. We'd like to keep it right in close to the ear at an angle right back. If you get too far up, tendency is a lot of times the bat comes this way. Too far down, we lift. So again, if you could just go ahead and have your hands come back in a comfortable position with your bat leaning out back behind you.
As the batter prepares to swing, the hand should be extended out from the body, the front shoulder tucked in slightly toward the plate, the head upright and turned toward the pitcher for a clear view of the pitch. Notice how this batter keeps his head steady and his eyes on the ball all the way through the swing. Here, watch how the hands go from a loose, relaxed hold to a firm grip as the batter begins his swing. Once again, the batter's eyes are fixed on the pitcher and his head remains steady through the swing.
Now I'd like to quickly review the points we've already covered. Number one, the feet spread evenly with the shoulder widths apart. Weight distributed equally, 50-50. Knees slightly flexed. Hands in a good hitting position, not too far away, not too close. The bat angle correct. Now we're ready for the pitch. As the pitcher starts his delivery, it's very important that you stress to the young player that he does not get into the set position too quickly. We'd like to see it just to come to the set position as the pitcher starts his windup. Now to get into this position, it's very important that the weight shift take place. The hands are in place, and as the pitcher starts his windup, we take the weight shift back, and we go from 50-50 to approximately 70-30. Our hands are still in the correct position, and as the pitcher starts his windup, we go ahead and coil. The front shoulder turns, the hips slightly turn, and you're ready to hit. Now as the ball is released, you pick up the zone in which the pitcher is releasing the ball and follow it in. Seeing the ball in the way and you realize where the pitch is going to be, you start to uncoil, keeping your eyes on the ball at all times. And a very important thing is to follow the ball all the way in. As the pitch comes in, your weight is back, you started to coil, you see the ball, now you start your weight shift forward. As you start forward, your hands stay back until the last second when you want to start your bat forward to this point here. The contact point should be out front for a pitch inside, and it should be further back for a pitch further away from you. An example, a pitch inside, I want to get my hands out front through at the bat head here and make contact out here. A pitch away is the same swing, except you make contact a little bit deeper in the zone. Pitch away, here. Same thing. Very important, you watch the ball all the way in. A lot of young players want to go ahead and start their swing. They open everything up and they take their head off. Coaches, tell them to visualize the ball all the way and see the ball hit the bat.
On this swing, watch the batter shift his weight forward and uncoil his body, keeping his hands back until the last second. Here you can see that the batter goes from a loose grip to a firm one as he prepares to swing. During the swing, it's important to stay focused on the ball at all times. Remember, the body comes forward, and then the hands.
I'd like to talk a little bit about some of the problems that the younger ball players will have and how you might be able to help them correct those problems. I think one of the biggest problems young players have is they don't want to get their hands working and through the zone. I think it's very important that you stress to them a short swing. And what we talk about when we say short swing is getting your hands through and your bat into the zone here. A lot of young players have what we call a long swing, where they actually bring the bat back here and it becomes very long. You want to actually push your hands out into here and get the bat out into the zone. That's what we call it, a short swing. The second thing is a lot of kids overstride. They get excited and they really lunge out. What you would like to do for maybe a visualization is you want to have a light front foot. I've heard the expression, think that you're stepping on eggs. Very soft, very easy, and not a large stride. 12 inches max would be great. Like I said, if you give them a good visualization such as stepping on eggs, it'll make them easy on their front foot. We'd like to see a nice, easy stride front foot-wise. Now we've talked about the hands, getting them out front, and a nice, easy stride. The third thing is keeping the shoulder in. A lot of kids will take, and the first thing they'll do is they'll stride and they'll open up too quickly here. Make them think, visualize again, tracking the ball all the way to the bat. By doing that, it will keep their head on the ball, which is the number one point as far as your eyes are concerned, is see the ball all the way in. By following the ball all the way to the bat, to the point of contact, head down, it'll keep your shoulder in. We've talked an awful lot about the upper half of the body, but I'd like to talk now from the hips down. A very, very important part of hitting that's neglected a lot of times by the younger player that really needs to be focused on. The hips are a large portion of the hitting, and it's the twisting here and the use of the hips that generates all your power. We talked about the weight shift back. As the weight shift comes forward, we would like to see the nice easy swing, but at the point of contact, this leg comes forward and the heel comes up to form an angle. This leg becomes firm to leverage. So you'd be in this situation here with your head down, hands out, but I've generated a lot of strength in the fact that my hips are to here. This comes here and you leverage off your front leg at contact here. Again, nice and easy out, but at the point of contact, the hips throw open and you finish in this angle here with this leg leveraged against it. So in other words, you're hitting against a stiff front leg.
You can see here that when the batter makes contact, his front leg is stiff. His head is down and his back leg is bent forward at an angle. On this swing, notice again that the batter's front leg is stiff at the moment of contact and the back leg at an angle. Here, you can see the batter's hips open up as he begins his swing.
Now let's make a quick review. Number one, we've got our feet in position. We've got our hips squared up with the plate. We've got our hands in the correct position, our bats in the correct position. We've shifted our weight back to the 70-30. We're thinking about a soft front foot, getting our hands through the zone. We come to the point of contact and we want extension of the hands here and the arms. Total extension, eyes on the ball, the point of contact, and afterwards, we'd like to see you hold on to the bat, but it's not necessary. In other words, after the point of contact, if you want to hold on, that's fine. But if you'd like to let go after the point of contact, that's all right. I would much rather see you hold on to the bat the whole way. So you've got extension, the point of contact, hit. First step should be out of the box this way and let go of the bat and go.
Here are some more examples of good swings. Despite some individual differences, they are all fundamentally sound. Each batter keeps his eyes on the ball at all times, strides forward while keeping his front shoulder in, opens his hips, and keeps his hands back until the last second.
Now here's where the real fun starts. Get to take some batting practice.
Batting practice helps the batter learn how to put all the elements of a good swing together. His swing should feel natural, yet still be technically correct. It's very important in batting practice that you get good pitches.
bad habits are developed by swinging at bad pitches. So be patient and get a pitch that you can handle.
Now that we've seen what makes a good swing, let's learn some hitting drills. One of the most popular drills involves the use of a batting tee. Batters can hit off a tee into a soft net or a screen, using the tee to work on developing a good swing.
Now I'd like to show you a couple drills to help the young student with his swing. And the beauty of these drills is the fact that the instructor can keep an eye on the student and instruct him easily, because the batting practice is not a variable as if it's a ball or a strike, but it's consistent. We can put the ball wherever we want. It's very simple. This happens to be a radiator hose. You can make it out of anything that you can suspend a ball on. It's nicer if we can go ahead and move it up and down so we can work on the high pitch and the low pitch. This one has a swivel so as we can work on inside and outside in relation to the plate. The other thing is just a net, soft net, which saves the balls. You can use a cyclone net. It just seems to wear the balls out in a bigger hurry. So we recommend the softer nets. Now, in using this, the instructor can be there, but on the other hand, if you just like the young student to get some swings, he can come out and he can work on swings without you being there. It's something that one person can do, which in this game is very difficult to find something without having to go shag balls. So it's a very good tool. I like to start out with a student having the ball on the tee and get himself in relation to trying to hit the ball right back up the middle, where he feels comfortable. The instructor can see at this point whether or not he's too close to the ball, too far away, too far up, or too far back. Get himself into the good set position, weight transfer back, and at this time the instructor can read all the breakdown points along the way, whether or not he's doing it correctly or not. It's very easy to break down a swing. To set position, and then whenever he's ready to address the ball, he just goes ahead and goes at his own rate. Head down, strong finish, leg bent, hitting off a stiff front foot. Okay, now I'm going to have one of the fellas, Mike, come on in here. Work a little bit with his swing here. Okay, now you can see right there that he's a little bit off balance. It's very important to have a balanced swing when you finish, to be balanced. If you're falling off one way or the other, it's very easy to see here. It's very easy to instruct. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and we'll work a little bit on going the other way. I'm going to move the ball away from him. Go ahead and turn just a little bit at an angle there, all right? And now we're going to have him drive the ball to the third baseman. Okay, head down, see the ball, straight through the ball. All right. Coaches, one thing you're going to find with a small screen like this, if you want to work on anything other than going up the middle, you're going to have to explain to the student to visualize certain things. Now, if I'm hitting the ball straight up the middle, I'm visualizing that the pitcher or the pitch is coming from right through here. If I'm going to work on going to left field as a left-handed hitter, then I need to hit the ball over here, so we need to rotate everything. So now we're going to think of the pitcher throwing from over here, turn the screen or turn the tee this way, and have the student move up because he's going to take the ball deeper in the strike zone if the ball's away. At this point, to be able to drive the ball into the screen, we just rotate everything this way. Same thing, except now we're going to drive the ball to the left side of the field on a ball that's away. Here, back. One more time. Now, same's true if we want to work on pulling the ball. Just the reverse. We'll go ahead and move the tee to the inside, but we also need to make the student visualize the other side, so we'll turn it this way. You might want to work on maybe 5 or 6, maybe 10 swings one way before you keep moving them back and forth. But in this drill here, we're thinking that the pitcher's over here, and I'm going to work on getting the ball out front and pulling the ball. Head down, extension, finish, leg bent, stiff front foot. All the things that you want to go ahead to have a good correct swing, and the instructor's right there to help you.
Let's watch four-time batting champion Tony Gwynn hit the ball to all three fields. When the pitch is on the inside corner, he hits the ball out in front of the plate and pulls it into right field. Here, Gwynn gets a pitch down the middle and sends it into center field. Finally, Gwynn gets a pitch on the outside corner of the plate and hits it into left field. Because the ball goes to the opposite side of the field from where the batter was standing, this is called hitting the ball to the opposite field. Another way to work on a batter's swing is for the coach to toss balls to the batter like this. Now Coach Parsons will demonstrate the soft toss drill.
It's a very simple drill, but the positive point to this is instead of trying to hit a stationary ball, now we're going to flip the ball, and the flipper will be able to control the ball as to where it will be, up, down, in, or out. The other advantage to this is the hitter gets to see an actual ball coming at him and uses his hand-eye coordination to make contact with each ball. Come on in. Now the important thing in this drill here is to make sure that you give him a ball he can handle. It doesn't have to be throwing hard, it's just a nice easy toss. Not too quick. This drill is very easy for the guy who's feeding to throw him too quick. Let him get set each pitch. Stride out now, use your legs.
Bunting is another aspect of hitting. Sometimes, for strategic reasons, the batter will bunt or intentionally hit the ball softly in the infield. To illustrate the fundamentals of bunting, here's Los Angeles Dodgers coach Joe Vavra.
In bunting, when the pitcher takes his windup and starts his delivery towards the plate, we want to square around. So we're in a nice, comfortable, relaxed position. We slightly lean in, crouch forward. Our hand and bat head should be ahead and above the plate. Our hands should be approximately a foot apart, so we have full control of the bat. My hand cannot be over top of the bat. We do not want to have any part of the hand exposed. Keep the hand in behind the bat. We lean slightly in. We keep the hand and the bat head high, out front of the plate, and then when the ball comes into the hitting area, we give with it, slightly giving. We don't want to stab at the ball or push outward. We want to slightly give so we get a recoiling effect of the ball.
Remember, the batter should use both hands and hold the bat in an easy, relaxed grip. Watch how the batter turns and faces the pitcher, bringing his back foot even with the front foot. The bottom hand should hold the bat handle about a hand's width from the end, while the top hand should be about halfway up the bat. The thumb and forefinger should cradle the bat, and the other finger should curl underneath. Notice that the elbows are slightly flexed. Instead of bringing his feet even, the batter may choose to simply pivot on the balls of his feet and turn his hips and shoulders toward the pitch. The batter should bend his knees and hold the bat steady, allowing the ball to strike it. The angle of the bat determines where the ball will drop. In this section, we'll review the fundamentals of base running. The importance of good base running is often overlooked, but it is an essential part of every team's offense. This lesson will cover running from base to base within the diamond, stealing bases, and sliding. Now, here's Los Angeles Dodgers coach Joe Vavra.
Now, good base running starts right here in the batter's box. After we make contact, we do not need to follow the flight of the ball. We just glance in the direction the ball's hit. Our first step is the most important step in base running. It's a crossover step, and while we're doing so, we release the bat. We do not want to throw the bat, we just want to release it out of our hands.
The runner should take a rounded approach to first base, hitting the bag on the inside with his left foot. After hitting the ball, the runner's first stride should be short and compact.
Now, from the right side, it's the same technique. Contact, glance, release the bat, do not throw it, cross with the right, and then it just becomes a race. Now we need to complete the race. We're going to break the tape by leaning in, cross the finish line. We're going to step in the middle of the base with either foot, don't break stride, continue on through glancing to see if there's an errant throw, and we finish our base running. Now let me show you some examples.
On a ball hit in the infield, the runner reaches first base, leaning forward as if he's breaking the tape at a finish line. Then keep running hard, 5 or 6 feet beyond the base. The runner should also glance quickly at the infielder to see if there's an errant throw.
Now that we've gotten ourselves a base hit, the first thing we need to do is pick up our third base coach. We listen for advice from our first base coach, but our eyes are fixed on our third base coach. We begin our lead with our right leg, and we go crossover with the left, and then again with the right, and then a short shuffle step. That'll get us out to a consistent lead every time. We also keep our eyes on our pitcher once we begin the lead. Now, once we've gotten our lead, we're out 4 paces, 3 strides and a shuffle. We get into a nice, relaxed, comfortable stance. The weight's on the balls of our feet, and we can go either direction, but we want to be thinking second base, so we want to get the best push off our left leg as possible. We're in this position. Now the pitcher begins his windup. As he begins his windup, we shuffle off. If we're not stealing a base, it's just a regular 1-2 shuffle with the right-left leg. Staying low, not bouncing. We don't want to give anything away to the opposition.
When leading, the runner takes 4 paces towards second base and keeps his eyes on the pitcher. And then as the ball is pitched, he should take 2 shuffle steps. When stealing, the runner pushes off with the left foot, taking a crossover step and staying low to get a fast start. Remember, he should pivot on the right foot and push off with the left. Watch again as the runner pivots on the right foot and pushes off with the left. When stealing, the runner should stay low and run hard, as if he were in a race. He should not slow down as he prepares to slide. Youth League players often must stay on the base until the pitch reaches the catcher's glove. Even so, the runner should still use the left foot to push off. Now let's see how a runner gets back to first base on a pickoff attempt. He should keep his knees flexed and his weight balanced. If the runner returns standing, he should step on the back corner of the base. The other method is to dive back. In this case, the runner should tag the back corner of the base with his right arm. Leading off second base, the runner starts with the right leg, takes 3 strides and then 2 shuffle steps. Remember to start the lead as the pitcher begins the windup.
Now, our lead from third base is very similar to all the rest of the bases. We're going to start with our right leg, cross over to the left, and then go with our right, and then we're going to go into a shuffle. So we're going to take 3 strides and a shuffle. The only difference at third base is you want to stay in foul territory. Example, 1, 2, 3, and a shuffle. The same thing applies. I want to keep my eyes fixed on the pitcher, and then when the pitcher goes into his delivery towards the home plate, I shift my attention from the pitcher to the home plate area. Keep a balanced stance and be relaxed as possible at third base. We shift our weight to the right leg. When the pitch is en route to home plate, that's when I want to get some momentum going towards the plate. I don't want to be at a standstill. I want to get myself shuffling towards home plate, and I end up with my weight on the right leg. If the ball is put in play, then I can continue on home. If it's not, I just retreat by shifting my weight back, crossing over, and going into the base.
Watch how this runner takes his lead off third base and then retreats when the ball is not put in play.
When we tag up, it's very similar at all the bases. We take a normal stride in foul territory. We watch the pitch go from the pitcher's mound to the hitting area. We shuffle off, putting our weight over our right leg. We see contact is made. It's a fly ball. We go back to the base as quickly as possible, getting ourselves into a racing position. We look for the ball over our left shoulder, listening to the coach. We see the ball enter the glove, and we take off just like a race for home plate.
Watch this runner tag up on a fly ball. He gets into a racing position, looks over his left shoulder, and when the ball is caught, races for home plate, running hard the whole way.
Now we need to talk about the slide. We've done the base running, now we need to talk about the proper sliding techniques. We run hard, we don't slow down, we don't stutter step, and we start our slide about 15 to 20 feet before the base. When we start our slide, we throw our hands back and extend our legs. Always keep the hands back, and we want to go in as low as possible. We call it the bent leg slide because the right or left leg, whichever one you're comfortable with, will extend. The other one will come underneath and underneath the knee and tucked. When you're running as fast as possible, it's very easy done. You throw your hands back, kick your legs out, the right or left leg comes underneath the knee, and you slide hard into the base. Avoid sitting upright. You want to throw your weight back and drag your back across the ground. If you sit upright, you have a tendency to dig in with the heel, and that'll cause an injury. We use a 3-point landing in our slide. In other words, we want to land in 3 spots. We use the back of the calf and the backside, both spots. Avoid dragging your hand. That can cause another injury to the palm of your throwing hand or glove hand.
Remember, the runner should start his slide 15 to 20 feet before the base. Watch this runner extend his left leg and tuck the right underneath.
Now, when we land on the 3 points and our momentum's taking us towards the base, our upper body's back, we begin to slide into the base with our knees slightly bent. And when we touch the base, we kind of absorb the base and bend into the slide. Keep the foot from being straight up and down, bend it slightly, so when you hit the base, it'll give, avoiding injury. Now, coaches, a good way to practice this is by taking the shoes off, tucking the stirrups, and going to a wet, grassy surface. That'll give the kids a good feeling for sliding.
Hi, babe. Michigan boys can do it all. That's right. Hi, babe. Get that knee out of the way now. Lean back. Better.
When running the bases, it is important for the runner to take as direct a route as possible toward each base. Step on the inside part of the bag and maintain speed all the way. Of course, sometimes even major leaguers run into trouble on the base paths.